What's going on, guys? So obviously, if you couldn't tell by the background, I am not using my green screen. I'm instead using my quick thoughts look, only because for this movie there is so much that I can say that I'm going to keep this as quick thoughts as I possibly can, because there are a lot of things, and do not worry guys, there are no spoilers in this review. You guys are safe with me. In case if you guys did not see the thumbnail or the title of this video, I'm here to review Avatar: The Way of Water, the sequel to 2009's Avatar. And like Avatar 2009, Avatar: The Way of Water is once again directed by James Cameron. And without saying again too much of the plot, I am going to read the synopsis from IMDb. Jake Sully lives with his newfound family formed on the extrasolar moon Pandora. Once a familiar threat returns to finish what was previously started, Jake must work with Neytiri and the army of the Na'vi race to protect their home. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Avatar: The Way of Water.
Excellent!
This might sound really shocking to a lot of you out there, but believe it or not, Avatar: The Way of Water was not one of my most anticipated films of this year, and that might sound really almost sacrilegious to a lot of film lovers out there, but it just wasn't a film I was highly anticipating. Now, do not get me wrong, guys. Was I looking forward to this movie? Absolutely, yes, I was, but I wasn't foaming at the mouth to see this movie. Just to take you guys back in time really quick, I'll make this as quick as I possibly can, guys. The first Avatar came back out in 2009, 13 years ago, and just to age myself here, I'm 30, and the first movie came out when I was 17. The first time I saw this movie blew my mind on a visual level. It was just something that was out of this world, and quite literally in the film story. But anyways, despite the film blowing my mind on a visual level, I don't remember being as emotionally hooked when it came down to the story. Now, do not get me wrong to you guys. Avatar, I do think, is a solid and entertaining film, but do I hail it as one of the greatest films of all time? I do not. I was excited for this film for one particular reason, well actually two. The first reason is because of the visual effects, because knowing it's James Cameron, you can't doubt the guy in terms of how he's able to make his films on a visual level. The other reason why I was excited to see this movie is because it's a sequel, and if you guys have happened to have seen James Cameron's other sequels, like for example, Aliens or Terminator 2 for example, they're some of the greatest films ever made. So knowing that, I went to this film really looking forward to it. As an overall film that I enjoy Avatar: The Way of Water, absolutely yes. Going on to the first thing that I must talk about, and I know you guys are going to ask me about this, how are the visuals? Avatar: The Way of Water's visual effects step up the bar so high that it's going to take many other films out there at least 10 years, I feel like, to catch up to what Avatar: The Way of Water has accomplished. Within the first 15 minutes alone, guys, I lost count how many times I either said, holy shit, or fuck me. The visuals in this movie are so good that when you see certain shots in this film, especially the underwater photography, which I'll get into very briefly, the visuals in this movie are so good, their eyeballs are most likely going to pop out of your eye sockets. But there are certain shots in this movie on a visual level that just look absolutely out of this world incredible. The version that I saw this movie had a high frame rate, and what this movie did, or what the version did, is that it kept switching between 24 frames per second and 48 frames per second. And here's what I can say about this whole thing. When this movie switches to 48 frames per second, there are some visuals, especially the underwater photography, that I swear to God, guys, and I'm not trying to overhype this, it feels like you're watching a nature documentary. Like, legitimately, it looked real at times, because that is how good the animation, the visual effects look in this movie. And honest to God, any other film with visual effects, you might as well bow down to Avatar and give your award to Avatar: The Way of Water. I did see this movie in 3D, and do I think this movie is worth watching in 3D? Yes, I do. As a person that finds 3D to be a gimmick in film, and I do prefer to watch movies in IMAX or Dolby, The 3D of this movie, I can absolutely say right now, it is absolutely worth it, especially the particle effects. And you can totally tell that James Cameron and his team spent not only so many years, but so much money perfecting underwater photography, and it absolutely shows because the underwater photography not only looks incredible, but like I said it before, it feels like you're watching a nature documentary. The performances are all great in this film. Sam Worthington is great. Zoe Saldana is great. Cliff Curtis I thought was terrific in the film. And even the kids I thought were really good in this movie as well. I would say that for about 70% of the time I was engaged with the story. I thought it was a very entertaining story. And once again, like I said with the first film, I thought it was a solid story. James Cameron knows how to helm action sequences, and he is a master at them. The final 30 minutes of this movie are an absolute spectacle. I mean, oh my god, the final 30 minutes of this movie in terms of the action, the storytelling, that, holy crap, the musical score and The Way of Water is just terrific. It is a great musical score.
Well, that's just fucking great!
What I'm about to say might get me not only killed, but crucified in the comment section, but I'm bracing for it. I enjoyed Avatar: The Way of Water, but did I love the film? I didn't. I won't go into the storytelling too much because there are a lot of things that I could say, but it's all very spoiler heavy, so for your guys' sake, I'm going to be keeping it very vague in this review. I did find the storytelling of this movie solid and engaging for the most part, but at the same time, I didn't find it emotionally gripping. Was I ever on the edge of my seat besides the final act, which I thought was absolutely incredible? I wasn't. There were a couple of things up in the storytelling that had me going like, huh? There are a couple of times where I did find this movie kind of predictable. I cannot deny that there are a couple of shots that didn't look quite as good as they could have. During my screening, this movie switches frame rates from 24 to 48 a lot. There are times where I didn't even notice the frame rate switch and I thought it was very seamless. But there are other times where I almost said out loud, oh my god, Cameron, stick to a damn frame rate, man, please. Avatar: The Way of Water runs at 3 hours and 12 minutes. This is a long film, and I know what you guys are going to say, that I don't want this movie because it's long. I enjoyed this movie. I did enjoy this movie, but my god, this movie is long, and at times it feels even longer than that. I do think that Avatar: The Way of Water could have been cut down like, what, 15 minutes? And here we go. So overall, Avatar: The Way of Water was a film that while I enjoyed, I did not love. The visuals are so good to the point where your eyeballs will pop out of their sockets because they are just that out of this world amazing. The storytelling is engaging and solid, but at the same time, guys, I didn't find the storytelling to be as emotionally investing as I wanted it to be, and I do think the film is a bit too long. But overall, I did enjoy Avatar: The Way of Water, so all in all, I'm gonna give Avatar: The Way of Water a 3.25 out of 5 stars. If you love the first Avatar film, you're going to absolutely love The Way of Water. If you weren't a fan of the first movie, I don't think you'll be a fan of this movie. But if you enjoyed the first film like me, I definitely think you'll enjoy Avatar: The Way of Water. So comment down below and let me know. Are you guys excited to see Avatar: The Way of Water? Are you not excited to see it? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames are in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Avatar: The Way of Water. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell for my latest review goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 reviews, please click either right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I'll see you all next time.